In this video, which is part 26 of creating a Coinmarketcap chart in Chartjs, we're going to focus on this draggable item here. So once I'm on here, you can see here now, if I drag this will work nicely, and you can see the cursor work. So that would mean that I can grab this again, move it back, do the same here, and go back, and we can even scroll like that, and then grab it here. You can see the cursor will match this nicely. If we are on a different cursor, you can see it won't work because that is not the cursor for the dragging, only this one is. So let's start to look how we can complete this part. So let's start to look now at the next part, which is eventually here. We're going to move this, and as we move this, you can see here our cursor is not correct, but you can see it's here. So if I would click here, it just doesn't do anything. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that this truly moves correctly, so that when we scroll here the cursor moves nicely. So let's solve this weird bug basically that we have here. If we move this here, you can see this just doesn't work. Alright, to do this, you have to scroll down here. You have to go all the way down, and then what we're going to look for is basically the drag item here. We have this here, the drag, and what we have as well is this part here. Luckily, this is quite straightforward to do. The issue here is basically this item and the max item here. The reason why this is becoming an issue, it grabs it from on the loading moment, and from there on after all you have the animations. But once we move this here, it doesn't recognize it because it loads it from the top and not from the bottom. So what we need to do here is to make this more dynamic by referring to here, instead of the min value, which is a constant that we assign, into a value that we grab directly from the chart. Basically, I want to grab here the min value of the chart in here, which is just very straightforward. All we're going to do is here, we're going to say my chart dot config dot options dot scales dot x dot min, and make sure you spell it correctly. Copy this, put that in there, and I'm going to put it here as well. And then what I'm going to do here is do the same, but then we say max, and we do here as well max. Here we are, and finally we can do the one here as well. So the reason for this is basically then, instead of getting the static value that we have above, it will grab now the value whatever is currently assigned as a minimum and maximum value. So that's the first one. So if I refresh this, we should be able to move this here, and then look at this, and then now, while the cursor is correct, the movement doesn't work right. So let's solve that movement as well. I'm going to scroll down here. You can see here the drag start. We just put it in here, the min value. We just do the same here, the min, and then we're going to look down here. We have here another one, which is called the max value, and of course here again the max value. Save, refresh. So now if I change this, alright, and if I move here, that works, and do this one as well, that works. But if, of course if I'm here, it doesn't work. If I scroll and then check, there you are, move this, beautiful. Of course, you can see here we have still some tiny issue that when I click on it, for some reason it still holds it, so we have to solve here. And somehow when we're outside of it, that needs to be solved as well, because this is of course not what I want. You can see we're getting it outside. So there's still of course bugs to fix, or items that we need to create a condition on, like this one here. If I move this, you're like an inverted version, which is of course not what we want. Next video we're going to focus more deeper on these items.